Hello everyone, welcome to Nihira Techiees. In this video, I am going to explain services in Angular. First, see what is actually services. So basically, services are classes that can be defined using injectable decorator. And also, services are independent thing. It does not depend upon any model. If you are created the service, we can call or consume in the n number of components. And also mainly in Angular application for consume the external services, we are going to use this services concept. It is initiated one time in the application that can be used anywhere of in the application. So in this topic I am going to cover the below topics. First, let me going to explain how to create on services and how we can use the services in our Angular application, and how we can consume the external services, and third one is how we can use the post get put delete methods in the Angular applications. The final thing is data transfer or communicating between two components using these services. Basically, for communicating or else data transferring between the components, we can use the parent to child or child to parent concept using the input and output decorator, or else view child also we can use. Using the services also, we can achieve the same functionality. I will explain with observable concept. Okay, first let me go to my application and going to create my first service here. If you see, this is my created application. As of now, I have one component is called pop-up, and in our default component app component was there. Okay, in the main app component I just called this pop-up component. Okay, if you see the output, just welcome to Nihira Techiees, and for this pop-up, so this is the existing thing. Here I am going to create my first service. For creating the service, we have the CLI command, that is ng generate and service, and I'm going to create this service in the folder. So I'm going to make one folder called service. Inside that, my service name is master. Okay, look like our service is created. If you see here, there are two files are generated. One is service.spec.ts and another one is service.ts. We all know the spec file is for testing purposes. Actually, it's not required. And one more thing, if you see, the only files are created. It's not updated in any other files. In case if you are creating any component, it will actually add in some data in the model. So that means the component is created for the particular model. But in the services, as I mentioned, it's an independent thing. So we can use this service for any model or any component. That is the main thing. So now let me go to my services. Here the spec file is not required. So let me delete this. Okay, it's deleted, and this is my service. So if you see here, it's created using this injectable decorator. Using the services, we can define any functions that can handle the data. So let me create one method first. Get user data. So this is my one of the function, and basically this method will return set of array. So I am going to declare one array here, user info. So this is the static data already have. It has two properties, one is name and another one is mark. Totally we have three records. Okay, I am trying to return from here. Okay, let me format it. So now we have created one service. Inside the service we have created one method. Now I am trying to consume in one of the component. So let me try to consume in our app component. Okay, if you want to consume any services, first you have to inject in our constructor. Based on that we can use it. So let me declare the object first, and service is my object, and our service name is master service. Okay, if I am added here, it's automatically get imported in the top of that. So hereafter I can use this one, and here also I'm going to declare one more variable. So user list equal to, so data type is any. So let me just declare it, and after that I am going to assign the value for this one, this dot user list equal to. Now I am going to get the values from the services. So we already have the object is called services. So it has the method is get user data. Okay, we have called, but we need to verify whether the values is coming or not. So I am going to use this console.log. Okay, it's fine. So let me inspect and go to the console. Okay, if you see the console, there are three records. One is Ramesh and Rahul and Vimal. So that means the data are coming from the services. Now I'm trying to bind one of the control. So for that, I'm going to the HTML side. Here I am going to have one table. So table tag is added. So it has head and body. Let me create it. Now body. Inside the body, we are going to generate the values in dynamic manner based on our user list. For that, I am going to use this ng for loop. So let item of actual our declared object name is user list. Okay, fine. So inside that, I am going to have my TD. So one is item.name. So here actually we are using this interpolation concept. That's what I am used the double curly braces. So let me format it once again. Okay, now we can see the output. Okay, fine. If you see here, there are two columns. One is name and marks. So whatever values we have added, it's just displaying here. That's it. Next, let me explain how to consume the external services. For this one, already I'm having the service. It's created in the .NET Core framework. So this is my one of the service, the get method. If you see, it contains some list of data. Let me try to consume this one. For consuming this external service, I am going to use the same service only, but here I am going to create the new method, get data. Okay, great. And here I am going to declare the API URL. Okay, this is fine. And if you want to consume the external services, we have to use the HTTP client. Before that, we need to import the HTTP client model in our app model page. So let me import it first. So import from at angular / common.http. So inside that, we have the HTTP client model. So once it's added, we need to include in the import side. So now we have completed changes in our app model. So let me move on the service. Here I need to inject the HTTP client. Private HTTP, this is my object name. And I am going to inject this HTTP client. Okay, fine. If I injected here, it's automatically imported in the top of that. Okay, now it's fine. Then I am going to declare one variable called list. So here also the data type is any. And now let me call our service. So this dot service dot on service, this dot http dot. If you see here, all the http verbs are coming here: delete, get, and what is called a patch, post, put. All the methods are will come. So currently our service is the get services. So let me call the get method here. and it's expecting the input is URL. So we already have the our URL, it's a API URL. So let me pass it here. So we have completed our changes in service. So let me go to the component. So in the component, let me declare the variable mlist, and the same way. So let me call it this dot service dot, and our data is mdata. If I call him here, the one important thing is, so if you are consuming any external services, the data are coming in the observable format. If you see in the top of that, the object is coming in the observable format. So any observable data without subscription, it's don't work. So let me subscribe. Okay, this is done. Now let me add this data into our M list so that we can use anywhere. Anywhere in the sense we have to bind in our HTML side. So now we have done. So here also we can use the same console. Then only we know whether the values are coming correct or not. So let me go to the console once again. So if you see the console, so 3 records are coming. Now I'm trying to bind in one of the control lists. For that, I'm going to create one list here. Inside that, I have the LA tag. So here I'm going to use the for loop for mlist. Okay, fine. And here I'm going to use the same interpolation concept. First one is name. After that, I'm going to have some bracket. Inside that, I'm going to have the ID. So item.code, I think the code is the name. Yeah, it's a code only. So now we have completed our changes. Let me verify. Okay, if you see in the list, there are 3 records are loaded, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have completed how to create a service and how to use in our applications, and also how we can consume any external services. So this put, post, and delete. So I try to explain in another one video also, then only you will get more idea. But before that, here I'm giving one short intro. The same way, whatever the thing we have done like a HTTP client, instead of get method, you have to use put method. So if you need to pass the additional parameter, and for the delete also same. So delete in the URL you can pass the actual keyword, and the post method. So post method also expecting the data. So that's what we are posting some data in the service. If you see after the URL, if you are passing any values, the error can be resolved. So that is the thing. So let me explain very deeply in one of the my next video. Okay, now let me move on the communicate or data transfer between the components using the service. So for that, I have 2 components. One is pop-up component and another one is my app component. So if you see in the UI, so the listing part all are coming from our app component. This pop-up actually coming from the pop-up component. Now I'm trying to add some records from our pop-up component. The data should be displayed in our app component. So that is my plan. So let me move on the code. So this is my pop-up component. If you see the save button, as of now here there is no functions are binded. So let me try to bind one function in the click time. Save data. Here I am trying to pass the value from the text box. So this is the identity thing. So okay, fine. Now I'm just passing the values to the save data. As of now, I am not defined the method. So let me define it first. And as I mentioned, I am passing the string data. Okay. And let me go to my services. For saving the data, I am going to create one more function here. Save data. So here also I need to mention the same thing. So name is string. After that, I am going to declare one object here in user object. So the object should be like this. And here also I'm trying to give the default value. That's it. So okay, I'm declared the object here. Now let me add data into the our user object. So instead of empty value, I am trying to pass our name and mark. I am trying to give 100. That's it. Okay, great. Now let me try to add in our existing array user info dot push this dot user object. So after added, I want to see whether the records are get added or not. So that I am going to create one console here. So now we have completed in our service side. So let me move on the component part. So here I need to use the services. So let me inject this one first. So our service is master service. So here I am going to call this one this dot service dot save data. So let me pass the input also. So this is done. Now we can verify. So now let me try to add some record here. So Vimal Raj. So if you see here, whatever value I'm added, it's automatically added in our listing also. And next one is Anthony. So the value automatically gets included. So now if you can see the flow. So actually I'm in the pop-up model. In the pop-up model, whenever I'm clicking the save, I am trying to pass the data into our services. So in the services, we have the declared array. So it's just pushing in the particular array. So the values automatically get reflected in our listing. That is the concept. So in this way, we can achieve this functionality. And one more way, we can using the observable concept also, we can achieve the same functionality. So let me try to explain that one also. So first, let me go to my services. And in the services, so we already have an array, right? So now I am trying to change this array as the observable array. So for changing the observable array, we have the keyword is called OF. So this observable also belongs to in the RxJS. Okay. So if you are using observable array, we cannot directly push. So let me subscribe this one. Then only we can use it. Now let me try to push some data. Push it this dot user object. So we have completed from our service side. So now let me come to our component side. If I'm seeing the browser, I think there is no data in the table. Yeah. Why? Because the data are in observable format. We should subscribe, otherwise we cannot get the data. So let me subscribe with this one also. So now the values are available in the result. So let me do like this. And if I see now, the data are loaded, and Rajesh Khanna, if I'm added, the values also automatically reflected in our listing. So here the concept is, if you are subscribed to something, so whenever the data change happens, so automatically it will be call and update the data. So in our app component, we have subscribed this get user data method. So whenever we are adding the data from our pop-up component, we are trying to change the existing data. So the new data automatically gets populated in our grid. That is the concept we are working here. I hope this video will give some better understanding about the services and how we can consume the external services, and especially data transfer between the components using the services. Still, if you have any doubts or clarifications, please post in my comment box, and also don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.